This is Sonic, and you're watching JD Frank 20.
It feels good for once actually doing a rant video that's not Sega related. Yeah, congratulations Sega, you're off the hook. This time. But in all seriousness, all the negativity for the last weekend has been the criticism of Pokemon Sword and Shield. And I can understand why. You know, because since I've been busy with work, because like I said, Friday through Sunday, you know, I work 3 straight days after that, you know, so it's really hard to keep up with everything. So I haven't personally bought the game yet, and because I want to watch reviews, what a lot of the fan base is saying, and I can kind of relate. Well, first of all, ignore the fucking Metacritic score, or the Metacritic scores, because 81 is a fucking bullshit score. We all know this game is trash. Let's be honest. Look at the user scores, okay? Why are we even considering critic scores over the user scores? The user scores is over tens and thousands of people who paid their hard-earned money to buy this game. The critics are the ones who are being paid to exaggerate, to tell you to buy this damn game, and they got the review copies for free. So they're basically a bunch of corporate sellouts. The moral of the story is, you know, GameFreak, you fucking gone off the deep end. Seriously. Like, I thought I was pretty much done making rant videos this whole week, but oh no. Apparently I'm on a streak already, so why not? Let's keep this shit going. Why not? I'm having fun with this, and you should too. Now, according to this article right here, we're gonna find out why GameFreak's on a shitty streak. Apparently, ever since the passing of Mr. Satoru Iwata, you know, the quality of games have really taken a nosedive, because I've noticed that in every Pokemon game since the first game ever came out, Mr. Satoru Iwata, God rest his soul, has always been credited in every game in some shape, and not only that, but he's the one who actually decided to add the Kanto region into Johto during Gold and Silver's days. And that was a huge undertaking, and he managed to get it done by using amazing methods, and that's why Pokemon Gold and Silver is by far the most popular Pokemon game of all time, probably the best Pokemon game of all time in everyone's opinion, and I agree too. Gen 2, the fact that they were able to fit that much content into a small cartridge is amazing. Like, you don't get that no more. I mean, look at that. I mean, that was some amazing stuff back then, and unfortunately, ever since his last project was Pokemon Black, White, and Black 2, the sequels for the 3DS, and unfortunately, those were his last projects that he was involved in, because unfortunately, you know, he's been having health issues, which ended up taking his life, unfortunately. So we lost a true legend. And ever since that, you know, GameFreak, for some obvious reason, haven't been able to evolve. Literally. You know, pun intended, because this is Pokemon we're talking about here. You know, the people running GameFreak, you know, are incompetent. Like, this is just, you know, sad. Like, how? You know, you're telling me that GameFreak, you know, a big company that has Pokemon, probably the most popular franchise that prints money, and yes, we'll talk about that in a second, can't even handle the basics of making a good Pokemon game. Now, Pokemon Shield and Sword, yes, I understand, you know, this was Game Freak's first attempt at making this game for the Switch, even though Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee have been out a year prior to that, and that game is pretty solid. It's a pretty solid game. I mean, I know there's some mixed opinions on it, but oh well. Now, for me, in my honest opinion, Game Freak has no fucking excuse for this. Look at the graphics. The graphics are pretty much washed down. They're terrible. You know, like, what is this? You know, I'm not gonna, you know, jibber jabber, like half of the roster is already missing from this game. That's already the first red flag. The second is the gameplay just doesn't feel up to par, and it's basically Pokemon for little kids. Yeah. That's what it is. Because the biggest criticism is experience share. The forced experience share, meaning that whatever Pokemon you use in any battle, or even if you're trying to grind, all your party Pokemon get experience points along with that. Meaning that you can level grind all your Pokemon at a high level, making you a little bit too overpowered for any real challenge. Like, what is that? Like, Game Freak, seriously? Like, you've taken a huge step backwards. Like, what is this? Like, it's just, I just don't get it. Like, whatever happened to making Pokemon games a little bit more difficult, or better yet, give us an option to make it difficult? But this is just fucking ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Like, and for Game Freak, I'm done. I'm not going to give him my $60 for this game. I was considered getting the game, but then the last month we've been hearing, leaked images, reports, half the roster, what the starter Pokemon would look like. Oh yeah, the starter Pokemon. Let's talk about that quickly, because why not? The starter Pokemon, all their evolutions suck. All of them. Like, what the hell is this? Is this Digimon or is this Pokemon? Do these look like they deserve to be part of the other evolutionary family? From the Bulbasaur line to the Chikorita line to the Trico line? Fuck no. I don't know what the hell these Pokemon are, but they are terrible. Seriously, I mean, their stats may be great and all, but they don't belong in that lineup. It's just ridiculous. All that hype, all to get, this game. This game, in my honest opinion, looks incomplete. It's an open world game. One of the biggest flaws of an open world game is there's so much empty areas. That means that the game is incomplete or it's rushed. One or the other. And Game Freak has been found out. And the fact they want to charge you $60, they want to charge you full price for this game, to me, it's a 3DS game ported over to the Switch. The game shouldn't even be $60, the game should be $40, and I would be shocked if this game doesn't have a massive price drop before Christmas, because this game is an atrocity right now. I mean, I know this is Game Freak we're talking about, so please do not point your blame at Nintendo. Game Freak owns 70% of the company, so they have the rights. Nintendo obviously is the publisher, so, they don't really deserve that much of the blame. So don't go, yelling at Nintendo, because they really, they're not to blame for this. It's Game Freak. And the sad thing is that, Game Freak, I don't think it's going to stop soon. My biggest fear is the Generation 4 remakes. It's rumored that they're going to come out next year in 2020. And my biggest fear is that Game Freak is going to fuck that port up too. I know they are. Because let's be honest, what happened to Auras? They got rid of the Battle Frontier. What do you think is going to happen in Gen 4? You see? So, that's basically my rant that I would have to talk about this, Pokemon Shield and Sword, do yourself a favor, do not buy this game. Alright, do not, I know you may be saying, like, why do I have to be so negative all the damn time? Because I have a problem with people spending their hard-earned money on crap like this, that's why. When it's microtransactions, it's one thing, but when it comes to something like this where you're paying full price for a game, I have an issue with that. I understand so many other people don't know any better, they just want to buy the game because, oh, it's Pokemon, I want to buy it, it's $60, what harm can it do? I already made that fucking mistake buying Sonic Forces a couple years ago, paying $40 for the bonus edition, and I've regretted it ever since. So that's why. So if you're thinking of getting this game, please wait for a price drop. If you want to hurt Game Freak, hurt them in the wallets. Don't buy this crappy game. Please. Seriously, like, I honestly think this game should, deserves a price drop. Other retailers are going to catch on soon that this game, may not be selling out as much as they like to. You got to send a message to Game Freak specifically, like, we're not going to put up with this crap. For $60, I expect a fucking quality game. It's ridiculous. I hate the fact that Nintendo actually even approved this. It's like, WWE 2K18, or was it 17? I don't give a damn. Either way, that's probably the worst Switch game of all time, let's be honest. That game was a broken piece of shit, and the fact that Nintendo gave the green light to have that game approved just shows you that how greedy they are. But for this instance, I'd rather just have the game delayed. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is Game Freak we're talking about here. They're used to delaying games, but no. They wanted to get this game out just to make a quick buck. Sometimes it's better just to wait for a game to be polished rather than giving us this fucking turd. Alright, that's about what I have to say about this. So if you're hesitant on getting this game, if you want to get it, go ahead. If you don't, I understand. I'm just laying the truth right here, okay? All of what you're seeing right now, this is 100% fact of why this game sucks. Alright, the only positive thing about this game is the Scottish girl and all the memes and all the fan art. That's the only positive thing about this game right now. Everything else, you know, it's just a mess. Alright, I'm gonna head out. Alright, peace.